UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon arrived at Ramallah, where he's meeting Palestinian Prime Minister Hamdallah a day after blaming this summer's Gaza war on Israel's occupation of the West Bank. Some 30 Israeli Arab citizens have joined the ranks of the Islamic State organization or other groups affiliated with al-Qaeda in Syria, according to Israeli defense sources. And the pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong took a violent turn this morning as hundreds of masked men tried to break down protest barriers, clashing with demonstrators. Good afternoon, I'm Shachar Peled. You're watching i24 News. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon blamed this summer's Gaza war on Israel's occupation of the West Bank and the denial of Palestinian rights. The Secretary General, who arrived today for a two-day visit in the region, which will include a stop in Gaza tomorrow, is meeting now with Palestinian Prime Minister Rami Hamdallah in Ramallah, where the two are holding a press conference. Later today, Ban Ki-moon will arrive at Jerusalem, where he will meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Reuven Rivlin and Justice Minister Tzipi Livni, and is scheduled to visit the Gaza Strip on Tuesday. Earlier, Jonathan Regev spoke with our Middle East analyst Ali Waked about these developments.
Sure that all these funds that were raised will be transferred to the Gaza Strip, and we have already the example of the 2008 war, when the international community also raised $4 billion for the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, and none of this money was transferred to the Gaza Strip because of the fact that Hamas was there, and Hamas was the side that was supposed to manage this money. This time we had the reconstruction of the Gaza was the title of the conference, but it was also the reconstruction of the Palestinian Authority role in the Gaza Strip. Yesterday it was the Palestinian president who was heading and leading the Palestinian delegation, sending a message both to the donators and to the Gazans that only if the Palestinian president will lead all this process, which means that money will not go to Hamas infrastructures, only in this way it will be possible to have this money. So this was to guarantee the international community on one hand, and to motivate the Gazans to prevent Hamas from trying to double this process and to retake control of this campaign.
So pretty much make sure that the Palestinian Authority is the one in control. And on the same subject, pretty much, Ban Ki-moon will arrive to Israel today after harsh comments made yesterday in Cairo. What will be the role of the United Nations with Ban Ki-moon saying these things? Because Israel obviously is a key player here.
Yeah, harsh comments vis-a-vis Israel was not exclusive to Ban Ki-moon. Yesterday, there was a unanimity among the 50 participants that only in case that Israel is part of this reconstruction campaign and to relaunch a peace process, there will be really a change on the ground. And the harsh comments were not only by Ban Ki-moon. We heard the Arab representatives and some of the European representatives. And here, the choice that's supposed to be made is by Benjamin Netanyahu, whether he is joining this campaign or keeping his government and deepening the isolation of Israel.
Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, police forces locked masked demonstrators inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque atop the Temple Mount this morning after they hurled stones and fireworks at officers following the end of morning prayers. The city's police forces had been aware of the potential outbreak of violence after collecting intelligence about Palestinian youths who had slept the night before at the mosque, planning to protest a visit by Israeli Jews to the contested holy site. The site and others throughout Israel and the West Bank have seen repeated clashes over Jewish visits, especially during the Jewish Sukkot holiday this week. Now, some 30 Israeli Arab citizens have joined the ranks of the Islamic State organization or other groups affiliated with al-Qaeda in Syria, according to defense sources cited by the Ynet website. Some 18 of them have been arrested since returning to Israel, and they face criminal proceedings. But Arab community leaders accuse the Israeli police and courts of being too lax in enforcing the law against them and failing to take preventive action against other potential recruits. An Israeli Arab citizen who joined the IS was recently killed in Iraq, and on Sunday, 3 more Arab Israeli men reportedly joined the terrorist organization. i24 News correspondent Hisham Farid has the story.
Ahmed Habashi, 23, was an Israeli Arab citizen from the northern village of Iksal, who left his home in the beginning of the year to join the fighters of the IS. but Habashi was killed in an attack against the terrorist organization in the Anbar province near Baghdad. Habashi reportedly left his village accompanied by 4 men from the neighboring cities of Nazareth and al-Fahim.
The news came as a surprise to the family. They were unable to confirm the details of his death, though they tried several times.
Several days after his disappearance, Habashi placed a call to his family, informing them that he was in Syria. Shortly after, he contacted them again and told them he made his way to Iraq. Members of Habashi's family said they do not know to this day what exactly happened to him and that the circumstances of his death remain vague and inconclusive. This despite having received a call on Saturday from one of the men who accompanied him on his way, claiming he had been killed.
Ahmed's father said he doesn't know where his son is. He was shocked when Ahmed went to Syria. But he also called on other young men not to follow in his path. Islam is not a terrorist faith.
During Habashi's last phone call to his family, he was asked by his father to return to the village. Following the announcement of his death, hundreds of residents from Iksal visited the Habashi family home to pay their respects. Habashi was a noted student at one of the region's best advanced schools. Acquaintances of the family said his academic background only makes the questions around his decision to join the IS all the more complicated.
Kurdish defenders held their ground this morning in the strategic Syrian border town of Kobani, where they have been trying to halt an advance by Islamic State fighters who have driven 200,000 refugees across the Turkey-Syria border. The jihadists have laid siege to the town for nearly 4 weeks and fought their way into it in recent days, taking control of almost half of the town. A UN envoy has said thousands of people could be massacred if Kobani falls. Meanwhile, Turkey has granted the United States access to its air bases for the campaign against the Islamic State organization, including a key installation near the Syrian border, a senior U.S. defense official said. Operational details are still being worked out, the official told AFP, on condition of anonymity. U.S. aircrafts bombing IS militants in Iraq are for now reportedly flying out of United Arab Emirates, Kuwait and Qatar. Meanwhile, the pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong took a violent turn this morning as hundreds of masked men tried to break down protest barriers, clashing with demonstrators who have occupied the central site the central site for the past 2 weeks. An elderly man was wounded as police struggled to contain the chaos. Hong Kong police had earlier removed some barricades used by the protesters, who have been occupying main roads in the Asian financial center for 2 weeks now. And a Boston hospital has been evacuated and a patient isolated with a possible case of Ebola. According to officials, Harvard Vanguard Medical Center was cleared after a patient who recently traveled to West Africa began to complain of symptoms related to the illness. This comes after a Texas healthcare worker tested positive for the disease, the second confirmed case of the virus in the state. A U.S. health official attributed the infection to a breach in protocol.
We are implementing the plan that we had in place for a couple of months now, and so that plan is being executed, and we feel comfortable that it is working in a way that protects our patients and our staff.
Are ICU doctors and nurses handling this care, or is it a specialized unit?
We have a team appropriate for the patient that's available to take care of the patient.
And in Bolivia, President Evo Morales declared a landslide re-election victory on Sunday, hailing it as a triumph for socialist reforms that have cut poverty and vastly expanded the state's role in the booming economy. Official results had not yet been released, but an exit poll and a quick count showed Morales, a former coca grower, beating his opponents with about 60% of the vote and easily winning a third term in power. Morales, who became Bolivia's first indigenous leader in 2006, will now be able to extend his indigenous socialism, under which he has nationalized key industries such as oil and gas, to finance welfare programs and build new roads and schools. And pilots took to the skies around Las Vegas to compete in the Red Bull Air Race World Championship Sunday afternoon before high winds forced an early end. With winds exceeding 55 kilometers per hour, several of the pilots were unable to complete their runs, forcing organizers to use Saturday's qualifying times as the final results. The fastest qualifier was Canadian Pete McLeod. And that's all the time we have for now. Join us again in 20 minutes. I'm Shachar Peled. Thank you very much for watching.